Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarola, Mayor for the city, and we are live this afternoon. We've combined our Inside Leominster show along with our afternoon update. So thank you for joining us. And let's get some keeping things done first. Shelley, remember yesterday when I was talking about Mr. Softy? Remember, Shelley? And you said, no, that's not the song. Here you go. That's the Mr. Softy song. See, Shelley? I stand corrected. That's the Mr. Softy song. Anybody remember Mr. Softy? Was it Steve Poppley? Mike Poppley? What was his name? I think it was Steve Poppley. He was the guy that drove the Mr. Softy truck. Tom Poppley? Steve Poppley? I'm not sure. But maybe somebody out there remembers. I can't be the only old guy around that remembers the Mr. Softy truck coming. But we were talking about it yesterday, and I started to sing it. Shelley said, she corrected me and said that that wasn't the song. So, Shelley, I hope you're listening, or at least watching. So, so somebody had asked this morning about Johnny Appleseed Festival. It's way too far ahead, so we're really not we had some conversations, but it's so far ahead, we're not sure exactly how people will be feeling at that time, but we will certainly let you know. Hey, if you want to ask a question live here, you could call, or you could just ask the question offline. They'll give me the question, I'll give you the answer, and you can do it all off the air, or just post it here on Facebook, and yes, on Facebook, and we will answer that for you. 978-537-7760, extension 0. Let's go to the phones now and see how Art's doing over there in the, have you started to think about how much water your house can handle down there?
It's not Art.
Oh, it's not Art. What is it?
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Good.
It's going good. I'm happy to hear that.
How you doing?
Well, today I was almost a minute early here. How's that?
Nice.
Yeah, usually I'm a minute late, but I'm getting better.
That's all right. I won't tell no one.
Yes. And Pamela Sullivan, I think you emailed me today. I'll get back to you. Okay. I did get
So
your
anyway,
message.
today in my discussion group, we talked about some ways we can use for our coping skills.
Patience. Imagine you're sitting on the beach and the hot sun is beating down on you and your feet are in the hot sand. Your eyes are closed and you can hear the waves coming in. Right?
Nice. Yep.
Relax. Breathe. Deep breathe. Exhale. See? That's coping. Coping is to pop open a bag of Doritos, right?
Yep.
That's coping.
Yep. And your M&Ms.
M&Ms, too. I don't know.
Take care, buddy.
All right, take care.
Yeah,
See,
bye-bye.
I'm solving problems here. Got a interesting call today, I should say, an interesting communication. I'll let you all in it because I've been upfront with everybody about everything. And so got an interesting inquiry today from a person of national interest who somehow or another made their way to one of our morning rants here, our updates, I guess, and found it sort of interesting. So I'll let you know if anything materializes from that. We may have a very interesting guest, and some interesting things may come from that. What? Nobody remembers Mr. Softy? Nobody. Just me, myself, and Shelley. All right, here we go. This is the song. You don't remember? Let's see if we can find it. There's still Mr. Softy trucks kicking around, you know. It's not an outdated thing. They'll probably cut us off too, Carl, because Facebook, YouTube, it's either YouTube or Facebook. If you play music from YouTube over Facebook, they usually mute you, so I'm not even sure anybody heard the music. Okay, so let's give you some numbers. These are of yesterday. We'll update them. It just gives you sort of an understanding of what's happening. In terms of those hospitalized, some progress has been made in terms of those hospitalized across the state. As of yesterday, it is down a full percent, which is some progress. It was at 8, dropped to 7 for a couple of days, now down to 6. So that is a good thing. I mean, overall, it's one thing to have symptoms and to be able to be treated at home and be quarantined, but it's another thing to, there it is. Caller, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, sir.
Do you remember Mr. Softy?
Yes.
It was a Popoli guy, Steve Popoli or Tom or?
I remember Tom Popley I went to school with.
There was a Dr. Popoli, right?
That was his father.
Right. And one of them ran the truck for a while. Nobody can answer me. I'm looking. Let me see if anybody answered. Nobody. Somebody here knows the answer.
Well, I took a survey today.
Yeah.
Down to grocery shopping.
Yes.
And I only saw 5 people with no masks and no gloves. Mm-hmm. And I just looked at him and I just shook my head and said, "You can't be serious. Why would anybody want to take a chance on something that could turn into no tomorrow?"
You could do what I do, and that's just stay 10 feet away from everyone.
You got that right.
I am not going near anyone. That's it.
No, not only that. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. If I'm out in the yard working, I wear gloves and then I wash my hands when I come in. You just don't know. I handle the mail. I do the same thing.
Let's just say,
you have to be careful. You know, you just have to be careful.
The CDC says that the reason for a mask is so that you don't, if you have it, you don't give it to somebody. So my reasoning for staying so far away from everybody is 2 things. One is if I should have it, right? If I should test positive, I don't want to share it with anybody else.
Yep.
And if anybody else has it, I don't want to get it from them, right?
No.
So you keep your cooties, I'll keep mine. Eventually, people will get tested, and when they get tested, and should I get tested for whatever reason, I don't have any symptoms. Occasionally, I wake up in the morning and I think I have one of the symptoms, but I think that's everybody, right? So until then, I'm keeping my cooties to myself, and you know what? I might just extend that. To beyond the 18th of May.
Well, it's funny you said that because after I read an article today from the superintendent at Gardner Municipal, and they're waiting on the governor like everybody else, but they put down some of the things they're going to be doing. One is one person per cot, and I have a cot for the season anyway, and I'm going to practice it on the golf course too.
Yes.
Because if you can't see it, it can be there.
That's right.
And that's my theory.
This is simple. I
wear a glove on my left hand anyway for golf, so I'm going to put one on my right, another golf glove, and wear a pair, and just be overly cautious because, again, it's a non-forgiving situation when you get especially into my age group. And I, for one, plan on being around a long time. And I want to be the one that's going to drive the hot rod to Framingham to give it to my grandson. And I'm the one that wants to go there to see him go to school with it the first day.
That's it.
And we had they stopped by today. They did a food run from that Framingham bakery. I sent you an email on the name of it. Anyway, so when they stopped and I walked to the driveway and Matthew got out and he set the stuff down and I handed him a $5 bill and I said, "Get you and Mommy something at McDonald's on your way home." He said, "Oh, thank you, Papa." He hops in the car and off they go, and Kelly said thank you. And he called me about 10 minutes ago and I said, "Hey, did you stop and get you and Mom McDonald's?" He says, "No, I only got it." I said, "Mommy didn't want any?" He says, it come to $5.
Yeah.
I said, "What did you get?" He says, a water, a French fry, and a cheeseburger.
Should have got the 4 for $4 down at Wendy's.
Yeah.
You get a drink.
So I said to him, when I was first driving, McDonald's was just coming out as well as Hawkeye Hamburg in Fitchburg. They were 24 cents. He couldn't believe it.
Well, I'll tell you my quick story. So President Clinton was coming to Framingham. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, he was. I don't know if it was an auditorium. I forget if it was like a memorial hall or whatever it is. So I was able to get a couple of bus loads from the schools to be able to get in. So we ended up, having to call the logistics people and the advance people and get some special arrangements because we were bringing so many kids down. So we ended up getting them in. So at the end, we were able to get like Janet Reno, and we would get some heavy hitters to come over and talk to the students right after. We didn't get the president, but we got, his upper level cabinet members to come over and talk to the students. And so anyway, Ted Kennedy came over to talk to kids after. He was really, honestly, fan or no fan, he was awesome with the kids. He was really good with the kids and talked to them, and they had really good questions for him, like, they were still of the age when they knew about the Kennedys and had heard about them.
Yeah,
it was pretty interesting. So not only did they get to see the president, but then after, up close, just to our group, everybody came up, and we got them all lined up. And thanks to Jeff Bean, who used to be the mayor in Fitchburg, who just helped maneuver our way around to get to everybody. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, so at the end, Ted Kennedy said, "Hey, Mayor." I said, "Yeah." He said, "What?" Here. And he reached in his pocket. Now, the guy probably doesn't carry much money, right? He just
could buy the city.
There's no reason for him to carry money. I'm sure he's got, people around him and aides and everything, and they're just, it's not like he's going to pull up to McDonald's or anything. And he said, "Here," he says, buy these guys lunch, buy these kids lunch. So he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out $100 and he hands it to me. Well, $100 isn't going to buy everybody lunch, but that's all he had because he just didn't carry that much money, and he probably had a credit card or whatever. But it was just funny because he goes, "Here, take these." He was so fascinated by these kids, and they were so well behaved. And so there's my Framingham story. That, yeah, you're right. Stuff used to be 50 cents a quarter, and we think you handed him a fin, thinking the guy could go and get a 12-course meal at McDonald's.
Yeah. Well,
you got to lay out half a sawbuck, buddy.
It's lasting impressions too. I took my grandson almost 2 years ago, right after Ronnie died, Bouchard, to his museum.
Yeah, you were telling me, yeah.
And
Good
I
story.
took Matthew. And as we were driving there, I was explaining to him who would probably be there, and he said, "Do you know these people, Papa?" And I said, "I know them very well." So we got there, and Bobby Bergeron, who was on the pit crew when Ronnie won Talladega, spotted me, and he come across the street and picked us up in a golf cart. And I'm looking at Matthew, and I could see his mind working. So we get out of the golf cart, and we start walking, and Ronnie's widow comes over and says, "Hi, Arthur." And I said, "How you doing, Paul?" Then I'm talking to this one, talking to that one. Long story short, at the end of the day, I was talking to some retired race car drivers I know, and we get in the car. Matthew looks over and says, "Papa, all those people knew you, huh?" I said, "Yes, they did." He says, "You must be somebody." I just melted. I said, "Well,
see,
I just happen to have a lot of friends."
Yeah.
It was, and he, to this day, he remembers that.
One day, a kid makes you feel good. So one day,
it does.
This kid, young kid, and he actually called my office, and he said, "Could I speak with the mayor?" And they said, "Sure." He said, "Well, I have something to give to him. You think I could stop by?" So they said, "Sure." Can you stop around, 11 o'clock in the morning? So 11 o'clock in the morning, I had these little feet running up the steps, door rips open, kid comes in, I can hear him outside. He's all excited, talking to the ladies outside, and and he comes in, and it's this little thing wrapped up in like paper, just like not wrapping paper, but just soft paper, like
delicatessen paper.
Yeah. And he said, he says, "I've been wanting to bring this to you for so long." And I said, "What is it?" So when I first got elected, I had all these mugs made up. And if somebody would come in and they brought somebody from somewhere else and they want to visit, I'd give them one of these mugs. So he said, "I was down at the Cape, and I was at a flea market, and I found this cup." He said, "And I wanted to show it to you." He said, "Because I was so excited I bought it." And I said, "Wow, that's pretty cool." He says, "I paid a dime I said, well, that's about what I'm worth, right? I paid a dime.
That's beautiful.
That's the best. He was so excited. He goes, I paid a dime. I'm like, well, you know, people down the game, they don't know who I am. I probably got a nickel around here.
Well, you know, I've had some experiences. I'll give you a real quick one. I'm in Pennsylvania at the Pocono 500 with Bouchard when he was Rookie of the Year. And he had to do an appearance at a big mall in Wilkes-Barre. And it was a meet and greet and signing postcard with his picture on it. So we get to the mall, and I'm standing there, and he said, Bart, sit down next to me. So there was a chair, so I sat down next to him. Here comes a bunch of special need adults, wonderful folks. They come running over to the table. One of them, the first one goes right up to, I think, Bobby Allison, and Bobby signs it and hands it to him. Then the kid moves down to Ronnie, and he looks at Ronnie and he says, "Are you somebody?" And Ronnie says, "No, but he is," and he points to me. And the guy moves over.
Yeah.
And Ronnie slides over the postcard. I said, "Sign it." I said, "You already signed it." He said, "Well, no, sign it." Well, I signed it and gave it to the kid.
See?
But it was so sweet, you know.
People know you are, right? When you go to the grocery store, people know. You got to carry a magic.
Whenever he did that, I didn't know whether to, you know what, or go blind.
You got to start carrying a magic marker with you, so if people want you to sign like their
that's
marshmallow
it.
fluff or you know their prosciutto down at the deli, you got to have a magic marker with you to sign these things at all times.
Well, I'll say one thing. There is something positive from this stupid virus.
Yes.
I saved about $500 this year. I didn't hire anybody to clean the yard. I did it.
Yeah.
So I took that money that I saved and I had them remulch the front of the house. So
Nice.
that's done.
Good for you.
So
See?
there was some good made out, and I kept some weight off for golf.
There you go.
So having said that, I'll let you go. Stay
right.
healthy. Make sure just an elbow bump, and keep your face covered if you're going to be in crowds. Oh, is there going to be a high school graduation?
Yes.
Oh, good.
August. So
Good.
limited, but going to try to.
Excellent.
Listen, there is nothing yet you can't pull off if people just cooperate. The reason
No,
we're in
we
this
could
whole
have a
lockdown.
parade for them if they don't have a
Yeah,
graduation.
yes, but I mean the whole reason we're in this lockdown is because people just don't cooperate.
Contact.
Yes, they don't cooperate. So, okay.
Yep.
10-4.
Well, that's good.
Over and out. All right,
Okay,
we got
bye-bye.
new state numbers to give you today. That's it, Mr. Softy. Boy, as soon as you hear that, I could hear that thing. We lived on 6th Street. I could hear that thing on 9th Street. 9th and Spruce, I could hear that. Boy, that was like the first day that truck came out. I could hear it, I bet you, 2 miles away, the first warm day when that truck came out. So it must be somebody that knows who used to drive that Mr. Softy truck. Okay, here are the numbers for this afternoon. They're just coming in, and I'll share them with you right now. Today's cases, testing positive, 62,205. That's up about 1,940. In Worcester County, testing positive, 5,550. That's up 250. Total tested, up 10,000, over 10,000. So you see each day more and more testing. 275,600. That's up 10,000. Deaths dropped a little, but still even one is too many, to 3,562. So we're way over that 3,000. And we've had some of the worst. Yesterday was the worst day. Now back down to 157. Let's hope that's the number we hope continues to drop. Leominster numbers, 112 active, and we were at 90 yesterday. So we were at 112, but 98 removed. So what's happening is we're identifying more people with the virus here, but it is dropping substantially in terms of the those that are off the quarantine, which means that they are 7 days they've been symptom-free after the quarantine. So that's yesterday's total. So we were at 103. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. We were at 103 yesterday. We are at 112 today. So we're basically up 11, but we're up almost 10 in terms of the people that are off the list. So we're up 10, and on one end, test positive, we are up. What did I say? We're up 10. but we are also up 10 or off 10. So that's the ratio, right? It's gonna happen where, the more we test, the more people that we're gonna find. And it appears as though, I think what was said today at the governor's press conference, it appears less. So those that are testing positive, less are having symptoms. So that's exactly what we thought 2 weeks ago. We thought eventually we're gonna reach that point where people that don't know they have it. And why are they being tested? More than likely, they've been exposed to somebody that did test positive. So now they're testing positive. That's why they're being tested. So as they trace and track, there could be 8, 9, 10 people on the list. So if you test positive, they're going to go back and trace. That's why it's so important to really stay away from the majority of people. So if, let's just say I was to get it, I know I haven't been within 6 to 10 feet of anyone. So the chances of somebody else getting it is minor. So if I give that little circle of the people that I had been with, then more than likely, or hopefully, or according to science, they should test negative. So that's the tracing and tracking part. So let's look at some numbers as of yesterday total. Of course, these are going to change, but just so you get a flavor of things, Ashburnham at 16, Ashby at 8. Let me just go back to my screen here. Apologize. I deviated here. There we go. Shelley, did you hear the theme song? Shelley? So you came in late. I'm going to have to play. We'll play it again for Shelley after I do the numbers. So Ashburnham 16, Ashby 8, Ayr 40, Fitchburg 238, Gardner at 104, Groton with 22, Lancaster at 54, Leominster with 207 as of yesterday, Lunenburg at 34, Pepperell at 28, Princeton at 5, Rutland at 28, Shirley at 115, Sterling at 16, Townsend at 21, Westminster at 14. Health Alliance reporting their campus was treating 21 patients with 3 in ICU. Haywood Hospital in Gardner had 14 confirmed COVID cases admitted and 2 in the ICU. Neshoba Valley Medical Center has no patients at this time. So that gives you a little bit of an understanding here. Let me see. So Tracy says, my sons, Dahab Aspire from Devons for special needs kids with a compromised immune system sent letters today that they are keeping closed till June to protect our special needs kids. Yes. And this morning we were asking, are there things that we can help with in terms of students that might have special needs or physical disabilities of some sort? I know that they're home and that schools are trying to do as much as they can, doing these little podcasts and sort of virtual connections and emails and videos and all of that. And for some families, that's not enough. And feel free to message me and let me know, are there other things that you see going on around the country that maybe we can emulate and kind of follow their lead, and maybe we can do around here. So let me know all of that, because this is extremely, it's one thing to have kids at home, but imagine having kids with special needs that are used to having that support system in place every day, and professionals and paraprofessionals who are dealing with them on a daily basis. And so there's a total disconnect right now, and I know everybody in the profession is trying as hard as they can, but a lot of these students have really relied on those teachers and professionals and paraprofessionals. So what are the hours to give food, Leominster High School? So you can go to any one of our pickup sites, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Southeast School, which is Francis Drake. You can go to Northwest, Johnny Appleseed, and I'll get to the other school here in a minute, but yes. Or Riverside Apartments, or Silverleaf, or you can come by City Hall. We have lunches there. And if not, you can't get there physically, you don't have transportation, 978-534-7500, extension 5055. So Shelley, I hope you're still there. We're going to play. This is what I was singing yesterday. Okay, can you guys play it one more time? This is the theme song to the Mr. Softy truck. This is the sound I would hear from 8 blocks away. And Shelley told me yesterday, no, that's not the right song. Yes, we just gave the numbers. What do you mean numbers yet? You should be watching from the very second this starts. Makes me want an ice cream, a soft serve. That chocolate and vanilla are all kind of whipped in together, half and half. Here we go. I hear it. It's on 9th and Spruce. Okay, there it is, Shelley. I stand corrected. See? Okay, hey, let's get back to work here. Kids, students, high school students, seniors, there's still scholarships out there. It was posted here. There's a whole site that you can find, I imagine, on the school website. There's still time to apply. The Hillary Bartlett Newsome Scholarship. Hillary A. Bartlett Newsome Foundation is offering a scholarship for up to $850 for a graduating Leominster High School senior this year. Put in for it. I know we're running out of time. I don't know if they're going to extend this out. I'm not sure. I haven't heard if they are. But in the meantime, if you have a chance, get on your computer now. Apply for these scholarships. $850. So who's eligible for it? Any graduating Leominster High School student that either A, is following an early childhood education track, or B, COVID-19 has impacted you or your family financially. Education was important to Hillary, and so was special education and autism. And we want to make sure that through their foundation that they help you out. So today's the last day, so get it in. Go to habnfinc@gmail.com. If somebody could post that, I'll get ready. Somebody post this. Ready? habnfinc@gmail.com. Somebody putting that up there? One more time. habnfinc@gmail.com. Okay? If somebody could do that. This sounds like the Three Stooges, right? Remember? AAB. Okay. So that's that. Let's get you some more information here. Hey, did you know Lionel? Did you know the artist Lionel? Lionel was, he was 77 years old. He passed away. I had no clue. I've known Lionel since he lived on the corner of 6th and Mechanic Street. He was an art teacher, just a really special, cool guy. So I made friends with him when I was a cop. That's where I met him on the corner of, on my beat was 4th and French Hill. Yes, thank you, Tara. And so he was an incredible artist, and he was my exact love of that style of he liked bright colors. And so recently, Lionel painted a picture of me. Lionel painted a picture of City Hall. He did a painting special for Leominster during the centennial. And anyway, Lionel did his last thing that I saw him. I came around the corner one day, and I forget what time of day it was. It was later in the day because there wasn't much traffic. Lionel was sitting in front of Carberry's, which is now Leominster News. And Lionel was sitting there, and he had his easel up, and he was painting that train station, the depot. He was painting that. That is the last piece that I saw of Lionel. Well, Lionel passed away at the age of 77. We haven't got all the arrangements posted yet and everything, but I'll share that with you. What a good guy. Lionel, just, I don't know if you can, let me see, whether you guys can zoom in on it, because probably people would recognize Lionel from his picture. Because, you know, sometimes people know you, let's see, that's Lionel. Anybody see that? Kyle will come out or somebody. Anyway, that's Lionel. He's, what an incredible, two. One. I want to show you his picture because maybe people didn't know Lionel by his name or whatever, but you've seen this guy around, and this guy's smile was just incredible, right? Just. Oh, sure. Easy for you to say. This is Lionel's picture. I'm sure you remember this guy. You remember him, Carl? What an incredible artist this guy was. Oh, yeah. He did this whole centennial painting. He was just, I love his work. It was always bright and colorful. He loved colors and just had a way about doing things. And there are a couple of his paintings that are in the public library. But anyway, I believe, taught. He went to Harvard. He was just a really smart, just a patient, caring guy. Did a lot of work in his later years at the Spanish American Center, teaching kids their art. And so anyway, we're going to miss Lionel. Haven't seen him in a little bit, but you know, I wished, you know, sometimes we run into people a lot, right? I mean, on a regular basis. Then sometimes we don't see him, but life just moves so fast. You think you maybe haven't seen him in 2 weeks, but it's been a year. And let us know, you know, by all means. We didn't even know that he was in a nursing home. We just haven't seen him in a while. So anyway, poor Lionel passed away at the age of 77. We'll let you know. I'm sure in the art world, people knew Lionel and will want to know more information about Lionel. We placed a wreath today in the front of City Hall. We have missed so many. I, like you, have missed so many wakes, funerals. There's just something strange about not being able to attend a wake, and especially people you know or you've known all your life, or somehow or another they've come into your life and become special people, and you can't go to their wake or their funeral. I know you can send a card and there are nice things that you can do, but it's just sort of a human instinct in all of us that want to touch and sort of shake hands and hug and go eye to eye and sort of tell a family just what that person meant to you. So it's just sad when you see at the end of these obituaries, you know, funeral arrangements are private. And I've been to a couple of these private ones where it's myself and 4 or 5 other people. And it's an honor to actually be there. But how sad it is that family can't greet friends and family and other people, because, you know, sometimes at a wake, you meet people, the family meets people who, there's the wreath, there you go. And so we placed that wreath in memory of every single person that you and I and has been listed in the obituaries from Leominster that we couldn't get to. And certainly you can send a card or other things, but we put that wreath there as a reminder of those that are gone, and those that are gone, and that we have been able to make that connection. But so many times I'm at a wake or a funeral, and I will hear complete strangers to the family talk about their loved one and talk about how they knew them, and their families are like, I had no clue. Or I'm here because this person did something so special to me. Or the stories, right, that the families oftentimes, especially if the families aren't all from here or live here any longer, those stories are things that they keep with them forever. So yes, you can sort of write down some of those things and send them off as a card or whatever, but just not the same. So we placed that wreath at City Hall, and it is there. It is beautiful, and it is a symbol of our respect to those families that couldn't, and our condolences to those families that could not have a funeral or a wake. So 978-534-7500, extension 0. That's the number at City Hall. A number at Emergency Operations Center, 978-534-7500, extension 5055. Maybe you want to make a donation, maybe of masks. Maybe you want to volunteer at Emergency Management. We have so many things that you can help with. They partnered up with Ginny's in the schools to deliver food. So you might want to help, but there's so many different aspects of the emergency management. You might want to stop down, take a tour, see the facility, see how maybe you can give back, and you won't be disappointed. And also, if you need help in any way and you need resources, call Emergency Management Center. They will hook you up, connect you with the proper agency, and don't be too proud. That's exactly why this system is set up. People are donating to these foundations and charities because they're trying to help you out. Tomorrow, we'll be sending out our first newsletter, and it's going to go to businesses. We need your email, contact information, updated information. It's our best way to stay connected with you. Leominster is ready to open whenever the governor gives us whenever we get the call, we're ready to go. We've been working with businesses daily. I've been stopping at some of the businesses. We have a good plan. We're running things by each other, sharing ideas, and we'll keep that up. It's really about ideas, making people feel comfortable. We will have a new system in place for restaurants that we call the Gold Star status, which will mean that there are standards that they will be following above and beyond the regular food codes that they need to meet. So all of this is being worked out. Outdoor dining, a plan for small businesses to open. It's covered, we're ready to go, and as soon as we get the okay, we will be in full action. We have a really cool piece. Do you guys have that ready back there? I don't know, do we have like photos of the week? We do. Well, let's do the fire segment because this is really cool. We got a little time. We got some time yesterday to spend with the fire chief down at fire headquarters at Central Station. So anytime you want to plug that, go ahead and start. I don't want to leave the show without you seeing it. Good afternoon. It is part of our afternoon briefing at 4 o'clock. We're going to bring you a special segment here because this is kind of cool. This is probably the one project that's added, probably the one most historic project that's been done in the city that adds to already the history of the city. So it's the most historic project done in recent times. And it's right here at our own central headquarters fire station here on Church Street here in Leominster. And Chief Sidlow will be here in a second. He'll describe the whole project, but it really, I tell you, I'm so impressed with the project. Not only the thought of the project, but later on how it evolved, and just a piece of history here that we've been missing. And so you put all these pieces together and you've got this beautiful project. So Chief Sidlow, come on over. I'm going to let you describe the whole thing because from the very beginning, so now coming around the corner, and just to remind everybody that to get the real feel of this, you've got to come by at nighttime.
Oh, it's beautiful at night. Come out nice. So the reason we're at where we are is we used to have a drive-in basement that had a very low ceiling, was never really used, and it had a hanging deck over it. Well, the deck deteriorated over the years. We had to replace it. We realized that with the flooding, the cost of equipment in the basement, that we were much better with an entrance. And at the same time was the members renovated the old Union hand tub, which they did a fantastic job. They took it down to the bare bones. They've had blacksmith on it. They replaced wood with wood from that era for the base of it. Beautiful piece. So we were able to do two things. Was one, create a nice entrance for us, bring us up to modern times, which took away the flooding problem, and showcase our piece here. And in doing so, it was designed with windows. We're in the process of doing the lighting, and we're going to do the back parking lot with some decorative street lighting to match downtown. If you get a chance, when you're driving around at night, you're over at the Common, look over, and or drive through the parking lot. It's awesome. I want to thank the mayor, the city council. We did it over a 3-year period, and we did it over phases of money being funding.
Can you talk about how it was a local contract, it was designed locally with your input and the other firefighters, and then built by a local contractor, local subs?
Absolutely. So when we started the project, it was a big project for us, and we did it in-house, but we hired McKinsey Engineering to design it, and we were going out to bids to get a contractor, but this type of job, it's kind of special, and we couldn't get a lot of people to bid on it. So the DPW with Joe Poria stepped up, and they actually did all the demo and in the foundation, which gave us a real boost to get it going. And then Paul Gogan Construction bid on it, and I can't say enough for all the contractors that it was Mr. Gogan's company, Peter Reynolds. Big hats off to the DPW, Joe Poria. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have gotten it done. My next phase is we want to do the outside. We're going to do some patios and redo some drain work, and like I said, do some decorative street lighting and really showcase it. So
this is kind of neat because now you can walk from out back. You can walk, go downstairs, come upstairs. You left the door open there so that you could actually get this out for. Right. But you added history to history. This is, I don't know how many generations, just in your family, how many generations worked out of this building, and now we've seen another one or two after us, another 2 generations coming here, and this part just puts the sort of the cherry on the top.
Yeah. So the thing we didn't we were trying to accomplish, but it actually is awesome for us. It allows us to get into our basement. When the members come in at work at the beginning of the day, they go down there and it's a nice locker room now. Before it was old, it was damp, it was wet. We are going to put in an air handling unit. The gear, which is very expensive, is down there, and we're going to ventilate the off-gassing from it. Gives us a whole nother dimension of the fire station. So.
And all of these pieces are actually pieces that were in this fire station?
Yes, the Union 2, which is showcased here, was a part of Leominster's fire history. And in the 1970s, they did a minor restoral to it and took it to musters. And then it kind of sat in the basement. We had plastic covers over it. And the new members, the current generation, they took it apart and spent a year to 2 years. Like I said, they had blacksmiths, they had wood from a barn up on Pleasant Street that was torn down. So they were able to replace it with wood from the 1800s. Yeah, it's top notch, showcased here. We're gonna do some on the wall there, we're gonna put up a plaque. And what we wanna do is put all the names that are on our monument. So all the deceased permanent firefighters will be on a plaque here, so that if a family member comes to visit, their deceased family member will be there, and then they'll be able to look right out over the common and see the monument, our granite monument. So
I was just going to ask you, I got that memo from you yesterday about how obviously people are going to be watching it and say, well, how's the fire department reacting to this COVID-19? And so I was looking through that and I'm like, I think I sent you back, said outstanding or fabulous.
Thank you.
Because it's quite a thing to keep this, we're a mid-sized city, to keep a city like this moving. 3 different stations, different groups, different people working different shifts, running emergency basic life support systems, and I mean, running our ambulance and all of that.
Yeah.
Very complicated, but you've been able to, you and Deputy Kirak and all the other firefighters have been able to make it work. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. As this was starting off, we obviously, like the rest of the world, we didn't know what to expect. So as things keep changing, the medical community keeps finding out more, we did a overhaul of our operations. So since the beginning, the members are trained, equipment was sparse, but we've got plenty of equipment now. So the members on the calls are awesome. I mean, they're going in, we're picking up COVID-19 patients, we're picking up regular sick people. They're doing an outstanding job of, wearing their PPE, taking care of the sick, taking care of the family members. So this past week, we decided that the numbers are not going away. It's probably going to be here for months, may come back again. So we decided to break the department up into like 3 separate segments, so that if one member got sick, it may only affect 1/3 of the segment. We could still run operations. So we've isolated like the North Leominster firefighters to there, the South to there at headquarters. And we're trying to maintain those in those groups. Obviously, emergencies will all be at the same scene, but we're trying to wear our mask as much, social distance. It's very tough in the fire department to work with a mask on all the time. So we're really big on maintaining the 6-foot distance, washing your hands, don't touch your face, everything they tell us on TV. And things have been good, and I can't say enough about the union and the members here. Outstanding, to use your phrase, outstanding job by all.
Oh, that's forward thinking.
Yeah, no, so things are going forward, and we, if anybody's sick, call us. If anybody has an issue, call us. We've had a few serious fires in the last few weeks, and I expect that we'll probably have more because everybody's home,
cooking,
and so that's
No,
our
it's
update.
just- I saw it and I was impressed. I said, that's forward thinking about how we can actually deliver a better service, having 2 ambulances on 2 opposite sides of the city, maybe a better response time because...
As you know, and some of these changes we may want to do permanently because the city has grown on the outskirts, and Leominster is it's square mileage wise, the high 29 there, and so our response times with traffic's to the outline. So we're evaluating whether you know, having the ambulances in the two outline stations gives us two big circles of coverage instead of coming out of headquarters. The reason that we held off is logistics. We may have to modify some of the stations, and it was the right thing to do right now, but
also an experiment. Right?
Yes, so
an experiment you can watch and see what happens, but that's good thinking. The response times are better now. Obviously, there's not as much traffic on the road, so you can do that, you know, sort of the north side, south side, east side, west side sort of thing, and experiment, see how it works. But fabulous job. I mean, I saw that, I'm like, these guys are forward thinking. Exactly, they got a plan, and for the safety of everybody. But again, if, you know, we went through this whole thing. We were trying to talk people not to go to the emergency room and not to call.
Yeah.
But the reality is people were getting real sick and they weren't calling. So I think what the chief's saying is if you're sick and you need to use us, don't hesitate. Just call. We'll work out the rest of this part later. But this came out beautiful. I was so impressed. I couldn't wait to come down. I drove through here at night between the church and I'm like, wow, this is like a museum in here.
yeah,
It's
beautiful. It's come out so much better than we thought.
so much history here, you know.
Yeah, it really, we never expected it to come out this nice. And a lot of pride within the department, and we keep adding to it, and you know, we'll move on to the next project.
You never know, somebody might have some rare piece of fire equipment or some piece of memorabilia that they want to be shared. And, you know, they maybe have it at their house and maybe it's stored away, but now that you have this, maybe they think, maybe I should call the chief, maybe this is something I should donate.
Yeah.
Maybe few people have seen it.
And we may, one of the ideas was rotating artifacts through here. So if it was a history of a big fire in Leominster and it's an anniversary, is maybe putting pictures of that fire or something from that era, and then, you know, leave it here for 6 months and then put something different. So we talked about having a curator of the museum.
Yeah, no, this is so impressive. So I hope everybody gets a chance to come by. Thank you, Chief Sidlow, and everybody else here at the fire department that had a piece of this, and Joe Poirier and the DPW. They made it a good project, and Gogan Construction and all the subs worked through the winter. And then the chief, when we first went out to bid, the bids came in high, and the chief said, that's it, I can't spend this much money, the taxpayers' money on this project. I'm gonna wait it out until the prices drop, and it did, and it came out so good. And so thank you to everybody that had and played a part of this. So thank you. We're going to go back to our regular show and give you the update on what's happening around the city in our afternoon briefings and updates. Good job. That was really impressive. If you have a chance, make sure you stop by. All right, well, let's do some pictures of the week, and then we'll give you the final numbers, and then off we go. So let's do pictures of the week. There's the emergency management designated as a distribution site for the 95s. Those masks go to police and fire here. They're distributed to them, and the Department of Public Health handles nursing homes, hospitals, etc. The new call box and the rear entrance to the fire headquarters. Many times people will leave their house, somebody's having a problem, or they're not from town, they head to one of the fire stations, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They can't seem to reach anybody. We have these emergency boxes at all 3 stations, and they help. You wouldn't believe the stories of people that just show up, and oftentimes somebody starts off with pains, or somebody's having, begins a process in labor, and next thing you know, they're having contractions. Next thing you know, they're in front of the fire station, and baby's not waiting. There's the expanded basement organization plus. Down at the station before, it was really not usable space. It was wet down there, sandbags when it rained, and so they've got all that fixed, and it's really good space. There's the addition complete. Again, we just showed that to you. Busy construction site at the Mechanic Street Park. They're going to be done by the end of the month. It's really going to be a beautiful spot, not only for that neighborhood, but for everyone in the city. There's a little playground. It's just a mini playground, some things for kids to jump on. I know they'll be anxious, and soon it will be ready. The DPW is sprucing up the Alzheimer's Park there at the corner of Lancaster and Central Streets, and looks good, and we'll be out planting flowers soon before you know it. There they are. DPW hasn't stopped yet. We're keeping the city clean. We're going to have that, as Tony DiGeronimo would say, we need to have that grand opening look every day, and there they are, keeping to that image. Taking the show on the road. We were at Cuteeks this week and Dream Kitchens. We take our morning briefing sessions on the road to try to promote some of the businesses. There we are at Global Fitness. That wasn't me there. I was sitting in a chair watching. We were also at Medical Arts Hearing And so we've had a busy week, and more planned for next week, more businesses that we'll be visiting. We're also retrofitting City Hall now in all city buildings so that there's plexiglass, a space to protect the public, and as well as the workers at City Hall. There we are, honoring those that we've lost with our wreath. It's a beautiful wreath. I want to make sure we give credit to those that worked on it. Wendy worked with some local floral artists, and it's a beautiful piece. It's there to remember those who passed during the COVID-19. Okay, one more time on numbers, and then we're going to sort of end this, and we'll pick back up tomorrow morning from somewhere, and I'm not sure where. But today's numbers, active cases, these are cases that are active currently right now, are 112. 98 are completed and are off. So those numbers are very close. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that sort of leveling period where the numbers of cases, of those cases, are equal or lower to those that are coming off the list. So those that have been recovered and have had no symptoms for 7 days. Hospitalization rates remain at 6. Somebody asked about the hospital, and at Health Alliance, they're reporting, Health Alliance Leominster campus is reporting that they're treating 21 patients, and I assume those tested positive, and 3 of those patients are in ICU, and I don't know the conditions, but that's the information that's reported to the state. So you're doing everything right. We showed our list yesterday. We are at the very bottom of the list of any community our size by 10,000 or more by 10,000. We are doing very well, but not good enough until we can sort of eradicate this completely. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep your distance is number one, right? That's number one, keep your distance. Number 2, if you can mask up when you are around other people, do so. And Dr. Mazzarella says, assume you have the virus, assume everyone you come in contact with has the virus, assume all surfaces that you've touched or come in contact with are somehow or another compromised. Soap and water, no fancy soap, just soap and water, 20 seconds, sing your favorite song, sing happy birthday 3 times, and you're in. And don't forget, when there's not water and soap around, use hand sanitize. I hope to have more information on masks for you tomorrow, going through that last piece, which requires sort of legal documents, and so hopefully we'll have that for you tomorrow. We're out of time here at Inside Leominster. Thank you for watching. Everyone's been great. Great ideas, sharing of information, being respectful, and that's what makes it all work. Thank you. Good night. God bless you. And remember, the world is run by those who show up. You must show up. Good night.